The Bears on Hemlock Mountain. Chapter 6. Aunt Emma's House. When Jonathan began to think about spring and about bears, it made him feel the need to hurry. So he went on, very quickly. Down here on the other side of a Hemlock Mountain, the sun was even warmer. Drip, drip, drip went the trees. Jonathan's boots no longer went crunch on the snow. They sank into it, and he made bigger footprints than before. Soon he was at his Aunt Emma's house. By the gate some hungry birds were hopping about on the snow. Jonathan felt in his pockets. Yes, there were a few crumbs, so he threw them to the birds and went round to the back door. Jonathan lifted the brass knocker and let it fall. How loud it sounded! But it was a cozy, comfortable sound, not a lonely one. Jonathan had come over Hemlock Mountain, and here he was, safe at his aunt's house. He began to feel big and noble and brave. Jonathan seemed to grow an inch taller as he stood waiting for his aunt to open the door. Footsteps came hurrying through the kitchen. The door opened, and there was his Aunt Emma. She was wearing a big white apron, and Jonathan hoped she had been cooking. By now he was very, very hungry. "Mercy's sakes, Jonathan," said his Aunt Emma. "What are you doing here this snowy day? Come in." Jonathan went in, but first he shook the snow carefully off his boot. Aunt Emma was a good housekeeper. Then he went into the kitchen. A big fire was burning, and the kitchen was pleasant and warm. The air was full of a good smell. Jonathan sniffed. Cookies. It was quite hard to be polite, but Jonathan sat down in the rocker and tried not to look hungry. He had quite forgotten about the cookies eaten on the way. "Well," said his Aunt Emma, "what brings you here?" "I came to see you, Aunt," said Jonathan, full of politeness and hunger. The big black cat came and rubbed against his legs. Jonathan stroked her. "Tush," said his aunt. "You can't tell me that you came all the way over Hemlock Mountain just for a visit." Then she looked at him sharply. "Jonathan, did you come all alone over Hemlock Mountain?" "Yes," said Jonathan. "Why?" "Because," said his aunt. "Because what?" asked Jonathan. "Because nothing." But Jonathan knew she was thinking about bears. The cat arched her back and purred. Jonathan thought he had been polite long enough. So he allowed himself to give just a small sniff. Sniff, sniff. "Smells good in here," said Jonathan. Sniff. "Mercy's sake," said his aunt. "You must be hungry coming all the way over the mountain. Would you like a cookie?" "Please, thank you," said Jonathan, hoping he did not sound too eager, hoping too that it would not be just one cookie. He need not have worried. His aunt brought a plate with a whole pile of crisp, crunchy cookies. She put them on the table beside him. Then she brought a mug and a big blue pitcher of milk. The cookies were good. Not as good as his mother's, perhaps, but good. just the same. Jonathan rocked and munched on the cookies. He drank milk. He rocked and munched and drank. The clock on the kitchen shelf did its best to tell him that time was passing. Tick-tock, tick-tock, time to go, tick-tock. But Jonathan rocked and ate and did not hear it. Tick-tock, tick-tock. The fire was warm and Jonathan was most awfully full. He stopped the rocking and slowly, his eyes closed. Jonathan was asleep. Mercy's sakes, thought his aunt. I wonder what the boy wanted, but it would be a shame to wake him. So she let him sleep.